Why you keep seeing 1, 2, 3 all the time. In this video, we are going over the 1, 2, 3 angel number meaning. We're going to be going over what this sign, this number, typically represents, coming from your angels, the universe, your higher self, whatever you want to label it as, and some of the ways I recommend responding when you are constantly seeing this number. So that's coming up next. Hi there, my name is Dave, and this is HeartSpace, where we are creating videos every single day that are from my heart to yours. And if you want more videos that are going to help you move more into your heart, follow your heart more, live a more fulfilled life, and give you the tools that are going to help you do that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon down below so you don't miss any of the content that we release. Now today, continuing in the angel number series that we're doing on the channel, we're going to be going over the simple sequence of 1, 2, 3, the angel number 1, 2, 3. Now understand, if you are constantly seeing this number, especially if you're seeing it multiple times a day or every day, it is not coincidental. You know, these numbers usually represent something that you will usually find that what I go over is going to resonate with you in some way, and you'll look at it and go, that does apply to my life. But what I want to make sure that we're going over before you take any of this all on board is that it actually does resonate with you. This is not something that's supposed to connect with you intellectually. It should connect with you from a heart-based place. It should resonate with you. So there are a few different things I'm going to tell you that these numbers can represent, that your angels could be communicating to you if you are seeing these numbers. But do understand that I don't know your specific situation. I don't know who specifically you are or what's going on in your life and what resonates with you and what doesn't. And so that's why you need to have a level of discernment when coming to this and actually feel out for which of these resonate with you. And usually that'll be what the message actually is. That is the real communication, the tool that you are given to be able to communicate with these divine powers, these divine entities. So without further ado, let's get into what this number typically represents. So one of the biggest messages that this can represent when it's showing up in your life is to stop spending time with the wrong people, or people who you know that as you continue along your spiritual growth, along your path, are going to fall out of your life, or at least the amount of time you do spend with them is going to shorten drastically. You know, a lot of times I think a lot of people go through their spiritual awakening, or they go through some kind of spiritual awareness, some growth, some even self-improvement, even if it's not on a spiritual way. And a lot of times we have friends or family or connections with people who are just not moving in the same direction. And if you know about the power of energy and how much of an influence it can have in your life, staying around people who, for example, have a negative mindset when you're trying to develop a positive one can be very draining and can make the task almost impossible. You know, your environment, they say, you know, you become a lot of what your environment is like. But if you're spending all this time with people in your environment who are thinking in a certain way, you know, projecting their beliefs onto you when you believe something completely different, or you're trying to alter them, it's going to be really, really hard for you to shift. And so if this resonates with you, if you find this is happening in your life where you're around people you've been thinking maybe even for a while, I need to spend less time with them, but you almost feel obligated to spend time with them or to keep the connection going for whatever reason because it was a part of your past and you're holding on to an old story, this could be the message you are getting, that it is time to shed the old in order to make room for the new. And a lot of times this message can come to you specifically talking about people in your life. And I understand it can be scary to let go of people maybe you were hanging out with all the time, or perhaps people who were once really, really, really close to you. And again, it doesn't mean you cut all ties unless that's what you feel is the right thing to do. But you know, sometimes in order for your own growth or what you're being moved towards, you have to you can't really sacrifice that growth in order to appease other people, so to speak. For example, I moved to Thailand, and because of that, I obviously can't spend as much time with people I was hanging out with in the States when I was in the States, or even family. Now, I actually have some people who I still really enjoy and have really good friendships with that are in the States, and I have really good connections with my family. I talk to them actually every single week. But I can't hold back my own growth, which my heart was pulling me to moving to Thailand, to moving abroad, in order to appease other people. So a lot of times this message will be, look, you need to let go of this and you need to fall into your heart. You need to stop hanging out, especially with people who are negative. A lot of times this will be a call from your angels to be like, look, there is a lot of negativity in your life that is absolutely going to hold back your progress as a spiritual being or your spiritual awareness, and you're gonna have to let go of them. But that's not the only message that comes with this. So let's get into kind of a different part of this message and kind of a reassuring message your angels can be giving you with these numbers. So not only is it symbolizing that it's time to stop hanging out with people, it's time to stop being around people who are dragging you down. And you know it, a lot of times we like to joke and kid and almost justify why we keep certain people in our life that we know deep down are not good for us. We know deep down are in a way stifling us. And again, this is not a superiority, inferiority thing. It's not saying that person's better or worse than you. It's just saying that you two or whatever people are moving down different paths. And the thing is, if one person is moving in a path in this direction and you're moving in a path in this direction, if you guys try and just go down the middle, you're going to actually be avoiding the path you're meant to go down. And so you kind of have to release that, whatever it is in your life that's preventing you from going down the path you know that is right for you or you're being led towards. Now, so not only will this number symbolize that, but it also symbolizes that your angels are ready to help. They're here for you because ultimately, as you go through a process, especially when it's people, maybe not hanging out with the same people you did when you were in your old story or, whatever else it is, it can be very difficult. But a lot of times this number will come, especially if you're going through this, to remind you that they are there. They have your back. They are supporting you. They are here to help you. And so a lot of times for me, that's how I take this message because there aren't really anybody that I'm moving away from at the moment. Excuse the barking dog that just kind of comes with having neighbors that have 20 dogs. But that doesn't, for me, it means that my angels are telling me, hey, look, even if you are sometimes feeling something about the past or people that may have been in it, we're here. Everything's going to be fine. You're moving along in the right direction. And yes, sometimes the path to growth, the path to self-development, the path to spiritual awareness can be lonely for a time. I can promise you, if you keep moving along that path, you will find your brothers and sisters who are along that path as well. You will find people who are moving in the same direction, maybe further up the path when you get to that point as well. They will be there, but a lot of times your angels will also give you this message if you started the process of removing people, or maybe you stop hanging out with people you know are not a good influence for you or whatever else it is, and you're feeling a little lonely because maybe you're not used to that. For me personally, I'm fine being lonely. I actually, have cultivated self-love to the point where I could be by myself for a while. I'm lucky that I have a partner who I absolutely adore being around, but I also am very good at being by myself. In fact, I sometimes look forward to those moments to just be able to be with myself, reflect, and everything else like that. And that comes with time, I believe. I wasn't always that way. Sometimes, but that comes with time. But again, this can be a message when you're seeing this 1, 2, 3 sequence, this angel number, that your angels are saying to you, hey, look, I know it might be a bit of a struggle right now. I know you might be suffering a bit inside because you're doing something difficult, especially if these are people who have been in your life for quite a bit. But just understand we are here, we're watching you, we're supporting you, we have your back, and everything is going to be okay. And take solace in that fact. Take comfort in that fact that you do have these divine beings, your higher self, the universe, watching over you, and that you are making the right decision, again, if this resonates with you. It's also key to remember that there are going to be changes through this transitional period. Whether your transitional period is like mine, moving to another country, or maybe you're moving to a different place in the country you're in, changing jobs, changing friend groups, whatever it is, there is always going to be this change. But again, this number is to remind you that it's fine. What you're doing is you are removing the old story of what you thought you needed in your life but didn't really need, and might have actually been preventing you from moving further in your life towards whatever spiritual path you were meant to go down, or you're currently going down, or move towards more spiritual awareness. But in order to move along that path, you have to become the person who is deserving to move further along that path. You have to remove the old in order to invite the new. So a lot of times this number can represent new beginnings. You're clearing out the old. Again, your angels have your back. The universe has your back as you're going through this transitional period. But just to understand, this is a sign that yes, the old might be leaving, but don't worry, it's opening you up to the new. And if you think about it, something that a mentor of mine always says, and I love it, it says, so many people are trying to essentially add things into their life, and it's not happening because they have all this cluttered space, because they're not removing things. They think that they can just keep adding and piling up more and more things, more beliefs, more whatever. But a lot of times you have to remove the old to bring in the new, because if you have, for example, old beliefs that conflict with new beliefs, well then how are you even operating? How do you operate from that? And so a lot of times, if you want friends that are more aligned to you, you have to remove the ones that are not. If you want a place, an environment that's more aligned to you, you probably need to get out of the one, or at least start taking measures to make the environment you're in more of one that suits you. And so a lot of times, again, you have to clear out that old to make the space for the new to come in. So just to break down the numbers 1, 2, 3, understand that in this sequence, 1 really does represent new beginnings. It represents a new start, a new way after you're removing this old. And so again, seeing this number in this sequence, remember that the 1 represents that it's a new beginning. And again, new beginnings are not bad things. I think a lot of people think that, oh, a new beginning, I have to start over. No, you're starting over from a totally new place. You're not starting over, from where you were. You're starting over from a completely new place. You have to understand that life is very cyclical. Change is a constant agent when it comes to life. Everything always changes. Everything always adapts. That's the one thing really in life that you can guarantee, that things will change over time. We go through cycles. And so there is always going to be these new beginnings, but it's not a good thing. It's a chance for a fresh start. It's a chance to continue your progress or to live life in a different way. It can be a beautiful thing. In my eyes, it totally is. My life changed, for example, when I moved to Thailand 2 years ago, and it's led to a new beginning for me, a new way of life that I've absolutely loved. And so I don't know what the next thing will be. Who knows how long I will be in this phase of my life, but I will completely embrace whatever next comes as well if there is a change. The 2 represents having faith in divine powers and also having self-belief and faith in yourself. Understanding, again, like we talked about, that this can represent that your angels have your back, and it's a message from them that, hey, look, we're here. And to have faith in that. A lot of people, they struggle because they don't put their faith in the universe or God, or again, whatever you want to call what it represents to you, or how you label it. But they don't put their faith in it. They're trying to control everything. They think, they have to stress and worry about everything, where the universe is right there being like, look, we have your back. Let me take that from you. Let me worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. Of course, it's not going to worry about it, but you know what I mean. But a lot of us will still continue to worry. And again, be reminded that your angels have your back, and the universe has your back. Your higher self has your back. And for me, that just, again, it just gives me so much peace of mind to just be like, oh, okay, you know what? There's nothing to worry about. I just need to focus again on the path that I'm going down, on my own growth. I don't need to worry about all of these things, the old story, whatever else it is. Removing worry from my life actually can be one of the most beneficial things I can do. Same for you. And so just to remember to have faith in those divine powers, and also, like I said, in yourself. Remember at the end of the day, you are divine. Having faith in divine powers, in divinity, in God, in the universe, is also having faith in yourself. At the end of the day, you are an infinite, co-creative, divine being. You are a spiritual being in a human body. Sometimes we look at the world and go, well, we're humans, and therefore we're inferior to this, and that. And I disagree with that. This is simply the vehicle for your soul right now, for the time being. And in future moments, whenever your existence in this form is over, you'll move on to the next thing in some other form. And that's absolutely fine. But you have to remember that you are also a divine being. So having faith in divinity, having faith in these divine beings, powers, whatever, again, you want to call it, is also at the same time having faith in yourself. And a lot of times when you have faith in yourself, it goes hand in hand with having faith in these divine powers. And having faith in these divine powers goes hand in hand with having faith within yourself, because again, you are divine. Again, we live a dualistic experience where we have contrast, where we have things that are relative and all this different stuff. But never forget that ultimately, when it comes to the ultimate truth of what you are also divine. And it's important to remember that. So that's what the 2 represents. And number 3 represents communication and excitement or enthusiasm. And again, be excited about this new path you're starting from. Be excited about the communication your angels are giving you right now, telling you, again, we have your back. Again, I know I've repeated it throughout this video, but I mean, what a weight off your shoulders when you are getting direct messages that, look, we're here. We're here to help, use us. This is a co-creative experience. I am you and you are me. I want to help you. And a lot of people fail to accept help, even though giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. So many people have bleeding hearts and they'll give so much, but they won't be able to receive. And that's actually there's always something to be said about that. And so again, remember that you are being communicated to. Be excited about this time. Have some enthusiasm again, because if you're seeing this number, it is meaning that you are progressing on your spiritual journey. You are in the process. For a lot of you who might be seeing this number, again, if this resonates, if this is ringing true for you, that you are further along in the sense that you've already started to maybe let go of certain people just aren't going to be involved as you move further, and that you are moving in a different direction. And again, that is a new beginning. When you start moving in that direction, you start turning around that bend in the river. You don't actually know what's on the other side of that, but that's where the magic of life happens. How boring would life be if you knew everything that was on the other side of the bend? Or if you knew every single thing that was going to come into your life? It would be boring, boring, boring. You might say for a time, oh, that would be fun if I knew, I could just get this money and that. And yeah, people do that. Some people will go, I want to do this, this, and that, will get exactly what they want, and then go this kind of sucks. I'm just going to allow life to bring me to things that are perfect for me. And then the magic really starts to open up for you. And so again, when these numbers are combined, think of it as a message of empowerment, a message to release the negativity in your life in order to bring in the new, a message of empowerment from your angels, from these divine beings, from your higher self, from the universe. And you take this empowered message to continue along your path on your spiritual journey in whichever direction your heart is taking you in. Anyway, guys, that's what where we're gonna leave it for this video. Again, this is the meaning of the angel number 123. As with most of these numbers, there are some more interpretations. You can find a lot of information on different interpretations of this number. If you just do a Google search or look on YouTube, there can be more. It depends on what content you like, reading or listening and watching. But there are more if none of these resonated with you. But usually if something I went over resonated with you, that is what the message that is trying to be communicated to you is. So again, if the first thing I said resonated with you, it's probably that. If all of it did, then boom, go with that and act upon that. And again, the important thing is when you're listening to this and something resonates with you, to follow through with it. So for example, if you're like, yeah, there are people I need to just ease out of my life, or to spend less time with or whatever, and I know exactly who those people are and that really resonates with me, it's not enough just to have it resonate with you and kind of feel good about a possible future. You have to actually then take the actions to make that your present, to make that your now. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it there today. As always, I love you. Let me know what other angel numbers you want us to cover. There's so many we can cover. So let me know down below what you want to see next, and I will see you in the next video.